Oh, mm. Good morning, everyone. This is Luciana Turner of the LT&A company. This is my first YouTube live. Join in. Introduce yourself in the comments so that I can recognize you. If you're catching the replay, hit hashtag replay so I can acknowledge that you stopped by. Just as a public service announcement, rude comments will be deleted because this is not the space for negativity. This is the space to bring knowledge to the general public. Um, as I said, let me do a brief introduction of myself. I'm Luciana Turner of the LT&A company. We provide government contracting, consulting, and training services to small businesses operating in the government space. Our niche focus is in government compliance and strategy development. And we help our companies and our clients get clear, get compliant, get strategic, and go for the win. Now, this morning, I have been trying to do this live for the longest, and I'm going to do it here and then post it wherever I started to post it at. I wanted to do a reflection on the year 2020. There's a lot of content out here. There's a lot of specialists coming out of the woodwork because of the economic. Some people call it instability. I call it the economic revolution, actually. I feel our economy is giving birth to a new way of doing business and a new way of operating. And anybody who's ever had a child knows that birthing something new is often painful. Them contractions is from the depths of hell, but the end result is something new and beautiful and thriving and ready to grow into maturity. And we are at the cusp where we can be the new leaders of what is being birthed, or we can be the coattail stragglers who's going to catch on in the second, and God help us, not the third or fourth wave of this birth. But bear with me for a moment because I want to delve into something you don't hear a lot about. We hear people dropping in windows, we hear people talking around it, but we don't hear a lot about it. We've heard people talking about birth your purpose, walking in your purpose, being a purpose driven individual, being a purpose driven uh, organization, being a purpose. We have heard about alignment, getting in line with those things that we hold true and dear to us, being in alignment with the universe, with the ultimate laws of the Savior. We hear about being in line with our true inner being, but I think there's a conversation that needs to be held around clarity. I'm not saying you're not supposed to walk in your purpose. I'm not saying that you should not be in full alignment when walking in purpose. What I am saying that you can't walk in alignment with your purpose if you're not walking in clarity. That was a nugget for myself. Hold on for a second. I need to write that down. And I'm going to say it again. You cannot walk in full alignment with yourself or with your purpose if you're not in clarity. And clarity is in you. Clarity begins with you. The power of clarity is in you that you must birth out. And then you must be clear enough to engage the correct mentors, coaches, consultants, staff, whatever, to help you focus and strategically implement the end results of your clarity. All things start from within. Now, I want to share this with you, and this may be a shock to some people, but clarity does not bring grace and ease. Mm-mm. Not in the way it's defined in our industry. Um, but clarity brings about the ease of disease. Because when you get clear on that vision that you have, I would challenge you that if it doesn't make you nervous, you're not clear. Because when you get crystal clear about that thing that's within that knowing of knows, that know that you know that you know, it should make you nervous because it should make you stretch. It should make you grow. See, clarity brings growth because clarity tells you I am not who I need to be to make this vision I have come true. But then clarity tells you I need to grow. I need to expand. I spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, all these things. You can't grow mentally if you don't grow emotionally because our emotions often steer our thought process instead of us steering our emotions. So we must become emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence come by mental strengthening and mental growth because we have to develop an awareness of when we're becoming emotional and what's triggering that emotion. Now, I'm going to tie this all back to government contracting, but I just have to make this point. So, clarity begins within. That's point one. Clarity is focused and strategically implemented with the assistance of the correct coaches, consultants, staff, mentors. That's point two. Point three, clarity does not bring the classic sense of grace and ease, but clarity brings nervousness and dis-ease. Clarity lets us know through this dis-ease that our vision is bigger than who we are and that we must point for grow. And in that growth, we must grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I dare say physically. And then point five, Clarity brings understanding. See, clarity will tell us what we don't know. Clarity will tell us that here are the things I do and I do in excellence. And clarity will tell us here are the things I can't do that I need to take my excellence and sharpen it. Because iron sharpens iron. Clarity will tell us there are here list of things I cannot do that I will not do and I need to outsource. All of those things come through clarity. So let's tie all of this back to government contracting. I want you to hopefully you have your contracting notebook and a pen. But I want you to write down these three questions. One, do you understand the process? Two, can you name the steps within the process? Three, do you understand the place of certifications, subcontracting, collaboration within the context of the process? Now that you have those questions written down, let's tackle them one by one. When I ask the question, do you understand the process? The first thing, for clarity's sake, that should have popped in mind is what process is she talking about? Mm. There are various processes within the government contracting arena. There's the procurement process, there's the fulfillment process, there's the capture and development process, there's the proposal process. Do you understand each of those processes? And in understanding, I mean, do you even know the components of those processes? There are too many people content with pretending that they understand the components and don't even know understand the process, but don't understand the components that go into those processes. Excuse me. So I dare say, if you don't understand the steps in the process, you can't understand the process. Clarity brings understanding. And now that understanding says I must seek knowledgeable help from someone who has been where I'm going and who is at least 10 steps ahead of where I am. Certifications is something that makes my teeth itch. And I do a whole training and a whole talk on certifications later at another time because I really think we need to deep dive into what certifications mean and what role does it play within the contents of your business. First of all, there are different types of certification. There are government certifications, such as the DBE. WOSB is actually government and industry. It goes both ways, but they're administered differently. There are the 8A certification, There is the ED M. It's economically disadvantaged women-owned small business. So that's EDWSB. The government will acronym you to death, and becoming familiar with some of these acronyms will help. There is the I already talked about AADBE. So and then there are the industry ones, which is the women-owned small businesses that are third-party verified as they're required. So I'm gonna delve into a little bit of certifications, but then we're gonna go flip back into clarity because ultimately this is the thing we have to understand. If you're not clear on how any of these things serve you, or serve the greater business, or serve you strategically, then I dare say, and I'm going to get run out of the room, but this is my room, so you can't run me nowhere. But I dare say you should not be getting certified if you do not have a true and concise and a detailed plan of how you're going to use it, how it benefits you, how are you going to leverage it. Being certified does not guarantee you anything. Certifications, nobody's going to give you a contract because you're certified. I hate to tell you that, but it's the gospel. Nobody is going to say, well, your certification means that you're more qualified because all that certification does is exactly what it's named to do. Certifications were passed by Congress to address the disproportionality around how, let's just call a spade, contracts were being awarded to male owned companies to the exclusion of women owned companies, Indian owned companies, black owned companies or African American, whichever term you prefer, um, Latino owned companies, Hispanic owned companies. That's where the whole certification comes from. That is why Congress enacted that law to say, okay, we're going to set aside. And then they had to go back and tweak the law and put in a requirement that a whopping 10% gets awarded amongst all these certifications. And currently, I'm going to just say in the state of North Carolina, there's 2,258 certified DBE firms. In the state of Maryland, there's currently 4,278, I believe it is. And I know these numbers because I'm doing some research on the effectiveness of the DBE program. So that's why I know these numbers. I just looked them up. So you mean to tell me out of all these firms, somebody's going to hand you something because you're certified? I need you to get clear. I need you to get clear. So how does this certification help you? And I want you to know something. This the biggest lie going around here is that you can't be awarded a contract until you get certified. And there are quite a few minority women-owned businesses who are not certified who are doing things. But that's because they was clear on they don't need or they didn't want the certification. And we're going to talk about that another time. They didn't want the certification because they had a plan that they was going to execute and execute well. So they actually decided they didn't need it, but they was clear on their strategic plan and they was clear on the implementation of their plan. So it was clear that they just did not need it. But if you, as a business owner, if you, as a um, in new in the industry, decide that you need the certification or that you want it, that's fine. But I need you to clearly create a plan that you will strategically implement for success. I need you to get clear because there's power in clarity. Um, as you join in, please introduce yourself. If you have questions, drop them in the comment box. If I don't get to it during the presentation, I will come back and I will answer any questions that I see. But I need you to get clear. It grieves me to see businesses flounder because of the lack of knowledge. It grieves me to see people struggle when they don't have to struggle in this thing. Um, it's just unnecessary. And it grieves me because they first didn't start from a place of clarity. So, question, Luciana, I like to talk to myself. I like to be in conversation. But Luciana, how do I get clear? I'm glad you asked me. The first step of getting clear, do take one day. If you're a parent, you're gonna have to lock yourself in a room. Um, put your kids out, put your spouse out, put your pet out, put everything out. I want you to get a piece of paper. I want you to get a new notebook. I want you to get a new pen because we're doing new things. And I want that first page of that notebook to be full of a brain dump. I want you to have mental diarrhea. I want you to pour out every idea, how every way that you think you need to fulfill it, just pour it out onto that piece of paper. Once you pour it out, then I want you to walk away from it for about 10, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, so that you can just feel the weight lift. Because when you finish this process, and if you do it correctly, you will feel like a burden has been lifted. Because now you have all of these things that have been running around in your mind out in paper, and it's like, now it's out. Now I want you to go back to that paper and look at what you wrote. And then what typically happens if you see, okay, wow, I have more than I thought I had. The clarity starts to come. Wow, I have more of the steps than I thought I had. Then clarity starts to come because clarity comes with the purge. Clarity comes from within. Now, there are places where you're going to see holes, gaps, whatever. I'm not saying don't get started. I'm saying when you identify these holes and gaps that you cannot innately fill, then that is where you say, I must hire to help me. Because guess what? The frame will never see the picture. Just the way it is. As a saying somebody told me, and there's so much truth in it, the frame will never see the picture. So then you bring that person in to help you get focused on the areas where you need help. I'm not saying you don't start doing things that you can do, but simultaneously, in clarity, you hire that person to help you bring focus to the areas that you need help in so that at the end of the day, your strategic plan and your implementation will be clear. There's power in clarity. And in that clarity, you'll be able to walk into rooms with confidence. In that clarity, you'll be able to sit down and run through a process, bid or no bid, with confidence that what you decide to go for, that you have a chance of winning. And then when you work in clarity, you actually know when it's time to disengage and say, no, this collaboration no longer suits me, no longer fits me. And then you can move in newer circles. But there's power in clarity. I hope that uh, you have gained something from this presentation